everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am so excited because a while ago I actually painted this wall behind me green. I was theming my entire background to be a Loki theme because I was really into Marvel. I mean, I still am, obviously. The problem is you can't really see, except for this picture right here, which is Loki, what the theme is. It's like Disney / Loki. And I just simply am not in love with it anymore. So this is what the full wall looks like. It's very high and yeah, it looks good, but it doesn't really fit my aesthetic anymore. I'm more of a kind of light, airy, pink and happy colors, very girly, feminine kind of person. And when you look at what my background looks like when it's in frame, it just doesn't fit what I want it to be. So in this video, I'm going to be redoing the whole wall. I'm going to be painting, making some DIY crafts to put up on it, making some resin, doing some decor stuff, and doing it on a budget. I'm basically doing it with mostly items I have. I'm buying a strip of LED lights, I'm buying the paint, and I'm buying glitter additive for that paint. So we are going to mix glitter in. So it's going to be a glittery background with a bunch of accents. And I'm going to take you along with me. So let's get started. So the first thing on my list of things to do is use what I already have. So I have a couple of these IKEA mirrors and I have some of these flower heads. Now I only have enough flowers to cover one of the mirrors and I have 4 of them. So I'm either going to find a creative solution for 2 of the others and put a flower one in the center and then put 2 others on the side with some different treatment. Or I'm just going to put them plain. I haven't decided exactly what I'm going to do yet, but I do have a lot of options and a few ideas. But before any of that, I'm going to glue all of these flowers onto one of them because I know for sure I want to do this one. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue all the flowers on here. So here it is. That was so easy. All you do is just glue the flower heads on. So I think that's gonna look really good in the background. I'm very happy with this. So that's one down, and that's probably the easiest decor that we have. So these are real touch, real feel roses. They're made out of foam almost. They're 3 inches across and 2 of them. So I think for the other ones, I'm going to use clear Mod Podge and maybe some sort of glitter. Okay, so here is my giant tub of Mod Podge. This is gloss. So it's clear and it's glossy and it's perfect for carrying glitter. And we're going to use quite a lot of glitter for this. So as you can see, I have a lot of glitter and I got these from a shop on Etsy that I'm absolutely obsessed with. And so I have quite a few to choose from. Now, I don't think I even mentioned it, but my theme for this wall is going to be light pink and white with little accents of black. Very girly, very florally. So we need to find some glitters that match that. Okay, so I have a few options. I have this rose gold from Hemway glitter, and this is rose gold holographic. Ooh, it looks really dull on camera, but in real life, this is very shiny. So these are ones that I already had that are outside of this. These are fine glitters that are going to kind of give an overall ambiance, aside from the chunky glitters. And then we have this silver holographic, which looks so gray on camera, but let me tell you, this is the most shiny holographic stuff I have ever seen. I'm literally obsessed with it. I use it in so many projects. I have it in bulk, the really big bag, and very, very happy with it. Then I have this kind of regular white shiny glitter. It's not that exciting. It's kind of just an additive to kind of make things look a little bit more punched up. I also have this one right here. This is what the shop is. It's called Overtime Glitter. And their shop on Etsy is really, really great. They have all sorts of chunky glitters. And they come in these really big tubs. So that's awesome. So I have this pink. It's called Cherry Blossom from them. So that's really, really pink. I would want to tone that down a little bit, which is why I have this like color shift. And this is so amazing. It's like mermaid, like it shifts into a bunch of different colors. It's a little bit darker than the color scheme I want, but I think that maybe if I'm just mixing it with a few other colors and putting it on the actual mirror with clear Mod Podge, that it might actually work. I also have one more that I can use, and this is from Counterculture DIY, which I use their resin sometimes, but they have this really big bag of just like winter. It's called wedding dress, but more to me like a winter snowflake kind of feel. So if you look at that, it's really, really sparkly. So I think that I'm going to mix this one, this one, this one, and let's go with holographic, just because I don't really trust that the pink holographic is going to be the same. A little bit too dark for what I need it for. And this one is just too boring for me. So I'm going to go ahead and put that away. And let's get to mixing these glitters, and we're going to put it all together. Alright, I'm just going to mix them in this cup right here. I usually use glitter in my resin projects, so mixing it with Mod Podge and getting the right ratios is going to be a little tricky, but you know, it can't really be that bad, you know. And I need enough to make two, because I'm going to put it on 2 frames, because I'm going to have my flower one in the center, and then I'm going to have the other 2 frames on the side. Okay, pouring it out of that little spout is not going to work. I'm going to go ahead. Oh, I have a little something in this cup. Alright, let's start with this pink color. I don't know how much to do. I'm going to do some more. It's not like I'm going to run out, because this is a huge thing of glitter and I've had it forever. I use glitter in pretty small amounts usually, so this is the first time I've ever used it in kind of like large amounts. Alright, let's put some of that color shift in there. And then let's put some of the white in. And before we add the holographic, because I'm not sure how I feel about adding the fine glitters yet, before we add that, I'm going to add some of this winter wedding dress white. Alright, I think I'm going to use a popsicle stick to stir this up. If I just stir it like this, is it going to work? We'll see. So I didn't realize just how strong that purpley color would be. You can see it's a lot less light pink. So what I think I'm going to do is mix up another cup, this time a larger cup, and I'm going to put a whole lot more of this pink color, maybe like most of it, and then I'm just going to put little dollops of that one in there so that we can see more of the pink and a little bit less of that purple. I do love the way that this looks, but it's just a little bit too dark for what my intentions are. So I'm just going to put that much and see. See, this is a lot more of the color that I was thinking. And I think that boring white, I'm just going to put a whole bunch of that in there because I don't really love it, but I know that it will fill up a lot of the space. So let's go ahead and just dump a whole bunch of this in because it can act kind of as like a filler. So that is quite a lot of glitter. If you look at it, see, this is much better than this one because it's a lot more pink, but I do think I want to add a little bit more of this in there. Whoever thought that mixing glitter was going to be this fun? It's actually really, really fun. Okay, I think that's actually kind of the perfect consistency. I'm going to go ahead and add some of the holographic glitter to this purple one to see what it looks like before I go ahead and add it to the pink one. I just want to make sure that I'm not going to be like ruining it. Now a little bit of this goes a long way, so the amount that I just poured in there is kind of a lot. So we'll see. You know, I think that'll be really good actually because it did make it, you can't really see it on camera. That's kind of the problem with glitter is it doesn't show up on camera the way it does in real life. Which is funny that I'm actually making this for my backdrop because it's literally made for cameras. But I think at a distance with some light reflecting off of it, it'll be pretty good. So I am going to go ahead and add some of that silver holographic to my big one because I really like the way that that looks. Ooh, and I added a lot, so this is going to be extremely sparkly. Alright, and because I'm using 2 different mirrors, I'm going to go ahead and split this into 2 smaller cups. And then I'm going to add the Mod Podge to the 2 cups and mix it together. And I'm going to spread it evenly across the mirror. I think that's probably the best way to do it, so let's go ahead and get started with that. Alright, and this seems like a lot of glitter, so I'm literally just going to start with 1 cup and put a bunch of Mod Podge in and see. We'll see how far it goes, because it feels like that's going to go far, but sometimes you just never know. Sometimes it could go really far, and sometimes it could go not nearly as far as you thought, even with that huge amount. And so let's see how well this mixes in with the glitter. I might need some more. That might be enough. Now this will absolutely dry clear, so this muddy nonsense with all the white, all that white will be gone. That's the beauty of Mod Podge, that it looks messy when you mix it with the glitter, but if you coat all the glitter, then none of it falls off. That's the part that I like. I'm coating every surface of all the glitter so that none of it falls off. And then when it dries, it'll dry all nice and clear, and it'll be perfect for what I'm looking for. And actually, I think that's probably a good amount. Like, I think if I spread this really well over the surface of the mirror, that it should be fine. Now we find out just how good this is gonna work. And actually, I'm gonna put this mirror, we'll just start with this one right here. Probably should have sanded this first so that it would stick better, but you know, I think this will be okay. You know what, it's trial and error. I want it to be super glittery, so I think that this is probably the best. Do it. Definitely it's gonna make a mess, like that is for sure, no doubt. I do have a paintbrush too, because I was thinking, oh well, let's paint it on, but honestly this whole like sitting it out like peanut butter and jelly is kind of working for me. I do want it to be a lot thinner than this though, so we'll see. See, this is where creativity comes from. When you don't want to spend money on new things because you have too many things already in your supply, and you have to come up with something that you're gonna do with stuff that you already have, beautiful things come to pass, like this glitter frame. Honestly, I'm already kind of loving this, and I think that once the glitter actually dries, it's gonna be really cool. I'm not exactly a perfectionist. I do like things to look nice, but I'm very much a big proponent of good enough. Like, if it looks good enough and the only person that would notice the imperfections is me, I'm gonna leave it at that. Okay, because this is a lot of Mod Podge, I can imagine that this is gonna take probably a couple days to dry all the way, so I'm gonna set it to the side, do the other one, set that one to the side, and then we'll move on to the next project. Okay, now that my entire craft room is covered in glitter from that last project, it's time to move on. So even though I'm trying to do most of these projects with stuff that I already have, there are a few things that I have to buy. I'm going to get the glitter paint additive. Now, I personally use Hemway. It's my favorite glitter brand. It's the same brand of that super sparkly glitter that we just put onto those mirrors, and they make a specific paint additive, and I'm going to add that to the paint, which is the second thing I need to buy. So I'll be buying the additive, I'll be buying the paint, and I'm going to be using Bear Marquee because, as you can see, this is a dark green wall behind me, and I'm going to be painting it like very pale baby pink. So we're going to buy the pink paint, and Marquee covers really, really well. That covers in like 2 coats with the base included. So definitely using that. Then I need to buy the LED lights. So I'm going to be doing the rope lights that are like the neon kind, and I'm going to be doing like wavy squiggles with the rope lights on that back wall so that A, it'll look good on camera, and B, it'll give me a lot of light for when I'm doing my sewing. Right now I have this shelf and it has basically just regular LEDs stuck to the bottom of it so that I can have that extra light on my sewing machine. So I'll be happy to have the more upscale, pretty looking rope light that looks kind of like a neon light. So that's the master plan. So for our next project that has to do with this wall, I'm going to be making some resin items. As you can see, I have my gloves on for safety. I'm going to be making 2 different clocks, and then I'm going to be making 2 different little jars. So the theme is going to be either white or pink or glittery or like light colored. Maybe I'll even do something that's like baby blue. We'll see how I feel as I'm pouring and mixing the resin. I don't have a concrete plan in place. I just know that whatever comes out is going to be amazing and it's going to go with the theme. And I went on Amazon and I got a couple of clock hands with the little mechanism that's going to go in these, and I think it's going to turn out amazing. So I'm really excited to get started with this project. So I have a couple of options. I can either paint in the little indents in these numbers. I can either paint them in now, or I can pour all the resin in and paint them later, or I can pour a different color of resin just in these tiny spots and then pour another one as a background, which I don't want to do that because that doesn't sound like a lot of fun. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and pour the resin, and I'm going to worry about painting the numbers on later because I can be a lot more precise after the fact. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and mix some of my resin now. Okay, so for the first clock, I'm going to do part of it as like an opaque white, and then I'm going to do the other part of it as like kind of clear with a lot of sparkles, stars, little baby moons, and some silver holographics. So we'll see how that one turns out. So I'm just gonna mix up each one of those in these little cups. We gotta move quick because I actually poured quite a bit of resin right now, and I think that I'm gonna have a bit more than I bargained for. So I don't want it to harden up, so I'm just gonna go real fast. Okay, so I'm going to use some of this holographic glitter. Wow, that kind of exploded everywhere. We're going to have a lot of stars, that's for sure. And then I'm going to put the rest of it with these little stars and moons, and then just some silver holographic. Alright, now I'm gonna pour. I think I'm gonna start with the Roman numerals one. I think I'm gonna do like stripes. So I'm gonna do like the middle section in like the clear, and then like a thin white on either side of that clear, and then around the edges some more clear. So let's start with that. We'll see how much resin we have. Okay, I'm just gonna kind of mix this up so it doesn't look like specific stripes. Alright, so we have the first one down. Let's work on the second one. So this one, I think that maybe I want to go a little bit out of bounds and do like a baby blue. So I'm just gonna use this same one that I did with white because I think the swirl looks really good. So I'm gonna do white and then baby blue swirl. So I'm going to go ahead and mix up a little bit more of the same white because I really like the swirl that I did for the last one. So I'm going to do white for this swirl. So I'm just going to mix up a little bit more of that. And then for the blue, and I'm just going to add a little bit of white to this as well so that it comes out like a very pale color. My backup plan, if I don't like this blue, is to add a little bit of pink and then it'll be purple. But I actually really like this blue. This is beautiful. Alright, I gotta kind of move quick because my resin is starting to get very, very warm, which means it sets up a lot faster. So I think on this one, I'm just gonna do swirls everywhere. Alright, these two are done, so I'm just gonna set these aside really quick and I'm gonna grab the next project. Okay, so I have these little jars. They're supposed to be for like pencil cases, but I really like to put all sorts of different things in them. So I'm gonna go ahead and mix up just some glitter with some alcohol ink so that it can be kind of see-through a little bit. That's kind of the vibe I'm going for with these two. And I should have just enough to do, I mean, at least one, but if I have enough to do like 1.5, then I'll let that half kind of sit in there and then I'll pour another half on top of it and kind of let that mix together. We'll see what we can do with it. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop some glitter in here. I might actually use the same kind of glitter that I was using earlier. So I'm gonna add some chunky glitters. I'm gonna go with some of this color shift glitter. I'm just gonna add a little bit of each. I don't want it to be like overwhelmed with glitter. I'm gonna add some of this pink chunky glitter. And then I have this blue and purple that are a little bit more refined. They're not quite as chunky. They're still not like super fine, but not as chunky as the big pieces. And then last, I think I'm going to add some of this confetti because I just think that's so fun having that confetti as part of it. I'm not going to add too much, just a little, Just kidding, I guess we're putting a lot because that came out really quickly. I think it'll still look okay though. All right, and then I'm just gonna add a couple of drops of the fuchsia alcohol ink. Just 2 drops to start. If I have to add more, oh, okay, I lied again. Everything comes out faster than you think it will. So we added 4 drops of fuchsia. So we're just gonna see how well this mixes up. So that came out really purple, I think mostly because of the glitters. I'm not going to add anything else because I actually really like the way this looks. But I got to pour this pretty quickly because it is heating up, which means that it doesn't have very much time left before it starts to really harden. Alright, I'm going to start with this one and we'll see how much this fills this up. Okay, so it looks like that filled up almost all of the first one, but I'm still going to pour the rest into the second one because it'll give it kind of a lip of the same color and put it in that same color family so that when I pour other resin, even if it's a different color, they'll still be cohesive with each other. And I think that'll actually look kind of cool. Sometimes running out of stuff or things not working out creates really awesome results. I mean, it creates its creativity, right? So, solutions. Okay, so that actually filled it up quite a bit more than halfway, so I'm really happy about that. Now I'm gonna go ahead and mix some more and we're gonna make these other jars. So for now, I'm gonna put these ones to the side and mix up some more resin. So I'm pretty sure that this amount that I mixed up is not enough to do those, but I am gonna pour what I have and then I can always mix up more and do like a 2-tone one, kind of like what I'm doing with that little jar. So I'm just gonna mix it up anyway and we're gonna see how it goes. Alright, so for this one I'm going to start with the alcohol ink and then move on to other glitters. And I know this is really bubbly, but I always end up with really bubbly resin and honestly it's never been a problem for me before and I don't mind the bubbles, and also most of the time they're all gone by the time it cures anyway. I don't know if that's normal for most people, but that's how it is for me. So I kind of stir rigorously and I don't really worry about bubbles. It is what it is. All right, I put 5 drops of the fuchsia in there. Let's see how that looks. I actually want to do this a little bit more opaque, so I'm actually going to put some of this white mica powder in there. Not too much though, just like that much. We'll see how that looks. I think that's looking quite a bit better. I actually think I'm going to put kind of a lot more of this mica powder in here, maybe double what I put in before, because I really like the way that that's looking and I want it to get even lighter. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to pour the lid first, and then after the lid is poured, I will pour the bottom half of the jar second, so that I'll have the lid and the bottom half be matching, and then whatever's in the middle will be like whatever evens it out. And who knows, maybe this will fill it all up. I doubt it. I just don't think I mixed enough resin. First time I mixed too much resin. This time I mixed not enough. You know, it is what it is. So I really like this. I'm not going to put any glitter in this because I really like it as is. Maybe I'll put glitter if I do end up doing a secondary color. Alright, so this is the lid and this is the jar, and I'm going to go ahead and pour the lid first. I'm going to go ahead and move these other ones off of here so I have a little bit more room. Alright, so that was barely enough for the lid. I'm definitely going to have to mix a second color for this. Alright, then I'm just going to pour the rest of this into this mold. Actually, I'm realizing that the lid is right side up and the other mold is upside down. So there's not even going to be a space in the middle. There's literally going to be like the top color going into the bottom color, which is good. I mean, it's fine. Not what I intended, but you know, either way works out. I like both. So that actually filled it like really far up. So next time I know when I do this one that I just need a little bit more than what I made, like it almost filled it. But I'm gonna really quick just mix up another batch. And I think I'm just gonna do enough to finish this one right here and also to finish this one right here and split them between them. And then I'll make an entirely new batch for this other jar over here. So that's the plan. So for this third color to go with the pink and the purple, I think I'm going to mix this as a blue. So I'm just going to put a very small amount of blue alcohol ink in here because blue is super powerful and I don't want it to be like a dark blue. So I'm just going to keep gradually adding blue until it gets to be the color I want. And honestly, 1 drop might just do it. I might actually have to add 1 drop of fuchsia to this as well because it's very like green. So I'm gonna try and bring it down. And if it turns to be pretty purple, then that's okay. I have a hard time with alcohol inks getting like a baby blue. It doesn't really like to give me that color ever. So this might just be purple. But I think I also kind of want to do this one with like a little tiny dash of mica powder. Not too much. I don't want it super opaque, but I do want it a little bit. So let's just add a teeny tiny little smidge. Just a little itsy bitsy bit. Okay, that's actually a really pretty blue. I'm just going to do a tiny bit of white mica powder to make it a little bit lighter. And mica powder is super potent, so a little bit goes a very long way. Now that is so pretty. I'm debating on whether or not I want to add some sort of like glitter or something to it. But I think what I'm going to do is not add glitter to it for the jar, and then after I'm done with the jar, then I will decide if I want to add glitter to it for the little pencil holder cup thing. So let's go ahead and pour this. Okay, so I think that's really beautiful, and I am gonna add glitter to this for the other one just because it's so glittery already. I'm gonna put a tiny little bit of this holographic glitter in there. And then I'm also gonna put some more of this just to tie in with this purple color. Not a lot, just a tiny little bit so that it kind of just matches with the other. I'm not gonna put any of the stars in because I think it might be a little bit too opaque for those to be effective, so I'm just going to go with this and see how this looks when it's mixed up, because I think this is going to be beautiful, and I'm definitely going to use this color again. I might do this really pretty blue color on the entire other jar. And you know what? I lied. I am going to put a few of these constellation ones in there just because I think that'll look really good. Just look at how like pretty. I loved that color. That was literally like the perfect amount. Honestly, I measured that one perfectly. I don't always, but this time I did, so I'm pretty happy about that. Alright, so for this last jar, I think I might do a variation of that really pretty blue. So for this one, if it ends up not being enough, I'm gonna do like half and half. So I'm gonna do like half of the bottom container and then half of the lid so that they both have both colors of whatever the secondary color is. Alright, I'm gonna try and see if I can recreate that blue just because I loved it so much. Alright, well I think that that is pretty darn close to the blue that I had before, and I'm really happy about it. I really like that a lot. I'm gonna add some of these like periwinkle sprinkles because I think that these will really add to the effect. Just a little tiny bit on the sprinkles though. I don't want it to be overwhelmingly sprinkles because I want it to be kind of more subtle. I always end up adding way too much stuff, but we're gonna try for this one. Alright. I'm just going to add a teeny tiny little bit of the silver holographic because that stuff is very powerful. A little bit goes a very long way. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of this mother of pearl because this will just give it a little bit of a sheen. Alright, let's stir that up and see if there's anything else I want to add to it. I kind of want it to look like a night sky a little bit. Oh, I think that's so perfect. It has just the right amount. Alright, let's see if we have enough resin to fill up both the lid and the bottle part. I hope that we do. I don't know if we do. Alright, I'm just gonna do a little bit of the lid first, and then we'll move on to the body of it. And that way, if there's not enough, then I'll have some for the lid and some for the body, and I'll be able to add a second color to the lid and to the body. Alright, that's enough for that, and now I'm gonna do the body of this. I hope I have enough for both, because I kind of want it all to be this color. Yeah, I don't know if there'll be enough. I guess we'll find out. I don't think it's gonna be enough. Okay, so that was like almost enough, but not quite. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna mix up a tiny little bit of clear, and I'm just gonna do the rest of that really quickly with clear and hope that it'll kind of like meld all together. So that's the plan. I'm just gonna move really quickly and pour some clear. So I added a tiny little bit of the white mica powder just so that it wouldn't be totally clear to this. And then I'm just gonna pour it straight in the middle, and hopefully it'll kind of expand what's already there and mix it together. And then I'll just swirl it a little bit so that all of the color kind of looks like it's the same color and it looks like I didn't really run out. So that's the plan. Now, if you can believe it, there still was not quite enough, like almost, like just this much that I was missing. So I just am mixing up a little teeny shot glass worth of more resin, and I'm gonna go ahead and pour this in just to finish it up. Okay, so all of these are ready to sit and cure, and then I will show you them when they're all done. I actually am really excited because I think these look so good already and they're still brand new. So I can't wait to pull these out of their molds and the clocks and all the other things. It's really starting to come together. So stick with me. We're going on to the next step. Okay, it is the next day, and let me tell you, the glitter has dried. It's amazing. It's super thick. I honestly could have gotten away with doing a lot less glitter with a lot more of the Mod Podge, but I'm not complaining because look at how fantastic this is. Is this not the most incredible glittery experience ever? It is so stinking pretty. I can't wait to put 2 of these on either side of those flowers. Like, it is seriously amazing. And moving on from that, let's go ahead and take all of the silicone molds off of all of the resin things that we made yesterday because those are ready as well. I'm just gonna start with these little cup things, like the little pencil holders. One of them, remember, was all solid one color, and one of them had like duo color, which I think is gonna look really amazing, and I can't wait to see. Okay, but how cute are these? They turned out so good. I love them. Like, all the confetti glitter in them just makes them look amazing. So next we have the jar with the lid. This one is also duo color, mostly just because I ran out of the first color. So the lid and the top part of the body match, and then the bottom part of the body is a different color. So we have partially pink, partially purple. I really love this color combination. And just look at how amazing this is. So I'm just gonna go ahead and screw that on there. Look at that. It looks so good. I love the little variation of color because we poured another color on top when the other one was like partially cured. It just looks so good. It's like a little candy jar. This is probably one of my favorite things to make. I've made quite a few of these in quite a few different colors, and they all turn out so good. They're just so satisfying to make. Alright, and the last thing that we made was this faceted jar with just a top that sits on it, and I really love the way that this always comes out, so I'm really excited to see the colors. I had to put a little bit of like clear / white in the lid because there was not quite enough purple, but honestly, like looking at this, I think it turned out really, really good. And here it is. This is the faceted jar. I think it came out so good, even with a little bit of white on the top here. As you can see, it just came out so cute and so pretty. And it's just a little bit see-through, and it has kind of like a midnight vibe to it, but it came out a lot more purple than blue, and I am definitely not sad about that at all. So the last thing I'm going to demold are these 2 clock faces I made. Now, I don't have the clock mechanisms for these yet, but you can still get a feel of what they're going to look like. And guys, I am freaking out because look at how good this looks. It is amazing. I don't even have to worry about putting like paint or anything on the numbers. The way that they're like marbled into it just looks so cool that I don't even want to add anything to it. I know there's like a couple of bubbles in a few places, but I'm literally not even worried about it because once I put the clock face on it and it has the hands and everything, oh, it's gonna look so good. And then just look at this one. Just look at the amazing glitter and swirl. Oh, that looks so good. This one turned out so amazing. I like literally can't even wait to put the clock hands on these 2 so that we can hang them. And they're gonna look so good on that back wall. Like, I am so excited. I have never actually used these molds before, so making my own clock out of resin just... it's a cool experience, let's just say that. Okay, so I have good news and bad news. The good news is my clock faces, like the little hands and the mechanism, have arrived. The bad news is I underestimated just how small these clock hands would be, and they're absolutely too big. So I'm gonna take this one, and I'm just gonna cut them down, and I don't think that anybody will notice. And then in the future, I will make sure to find little teeny tiny mini clock hands to use for these particular clock faces in the future. But these are gonna work. I'm just going to cut them down, put the clocks together, and then they will be ready to hang. It's working. Finally, it's working. I like that it doesn't actually tick. It just kind of goes around slowly. That's super nice. So these are a little chunkier than I would like. In the future, I can always like buy more clock hands, you know, like this is not the end all be all, but this is what I bought. So this will work for now. And I'm really excited to put this up actually. The other ones that I got, they're gold, not silver. It is what it is. I should have probably looked a little closer when I was buying them, but there was a lot of details, so I just bought what I thought was gonna work, and you know what? I'm making it work. So, you know, it is what it is, but look at how cute this clock is. All right, let me just finish up the other one. I love this one. This is just so amazing. Isn't this so pretty? I actually don't mind that the hands are gold. I'll probably still swap them out later at some point, but I do kind of like the gold hands. They look pretty nice. So here are the two clocks that I've made. I am super proud of them, my resin clocks, and these are definitely going to be a very cute part of the wall that I am putting together. So I'm really excited to see how they fit in with everything else that I've made. Okay, so obviously the biggest step is painting the actual wall, and I actually got some Hemway glitter additive to put in the paint. The paint is pink, so we're gonna go ahead and mix the paint, and I'm gonna do the edge work with a detail brush all around the edges so that we don't have to like tape it off and try and worry about that. I'm just gonna really quickly, because I have a pretty steady hand from being an artist. It's not gonna be absolutely perfect, but I did it on the last wall when we painted this green, so it should work again this time. And then my boyfriend Tim is going to paint the rest with the roller, and he is a really good sport because he painted the last one, so he knows exactly how much work it is. And even just painting one wall is pretty exhausting. So he's gonna do all of that for me. But before we do that, we have to mix up the paint and get all the rest of the stuff off the wall. Okay, so as you can see, the wall is pink now. I'm super happy with it. So the glitter did show up, but it's very subtle, which I'm happy about. A lot of people said to put 2 bags of glitter, but I was like, nah, I don't want it to be overwhelming. And when we dumped that whole first bag into the gallon, I was like, that is so much glitter. But I think it's kind of the perfect amount for me. I'm pretty happy with it. And you can already tell that this entire background is so much lighter, so much pinker. It's way more me. So I think this is going to be perfect for my video backgrounds from now on. As you can see, this whole mess right now, we're not going to talk about that because that's just from pushing everything away from the wall so that we could paint it. So as soon as all that goes back, I will start decorating the wall. But for now, we have to wait for it to dry, and I have about 2 inches of walk space between the desk that I'm sitting at and this desk that's behind me. I just have to like shimmy my way through to get to the door, which is pretty funny, but I'm really, really excited to see the whole wall come together, especially with like the LED lights. It's gonna look like neon lights and the shelves and all of the stuff that I've made so far. Plus, I have a bunch of other stuff that's going up on the wall that I haven't talked about yet. That's just like side decor, stuff that I already had, or stuff that I bought and didn't DIY. So trust me, it's going to look amazing. I can't wait to show you, and then I can't wait to film a whole lot more videos coming up right after this. So it's been kind of a hot minute since I actually voiced anything and recorded anything. That's because I've been putting all the final pieces together, getting the wall painted as you saw, getting all the lights put up, which was difficult, but honestly for me it would have been impossible without having my boyfriend basically do it all for me. I just planned out where it would go and he came in like a hero and hung it all up for me. But in the background, what I haven't shown you is also the rest of the studio. So basically what I'm looking at right now. And I've put up extra lights. I put my nice camera as my top-down camera. I've been setting everything up. I got a secondary screen. A lot of things have been going on behind the scenes, including mounting my mic. So hopefully my audio will have no more problems and it won't get in the way anymore. And I will just have this amazing space to record some videos for you guys. So this is the final background. I was gonna put this right here, but seeing as my head is basically in front of it the entire time, I decided to move it up. But these lights are extremely bright, so effective. I absolutely love them. I'm glad I went with the white ones because I'm never going to be changing the colors. And if I do, I can always buy RGB ones down the road. But this one I had no worries about it being too short because I got a really long length for a lot less dollars because I went with just plain white, and I have a whole bunch left over and I can just hook up a power cable into them and use them somewhere else. So yeah, I'm really happy with these lights. And then I have my little glowy neon ones. They're so cute. I absolutely love them. So I'm super happy with how this background turned out. And let's get a view of the other side. So this is basically my setup. I have my mic right here. And then I have my top-down camera. This is a Canon EOS Rebel SL2. And I've had it for so many years. And I used to use it as my front-facing camera, but since I do so many things with my hands, it makes sense to just have it down here because this is the space where I'll be having most of my things that I'm doing and stuff, and I'll be showing you all of that. And then I got this little miniature secondary screen up there, which I love. Basically, that just plays my YouTube in the background while I'm doing other stuff. Then up here, I have my ring light, which gives me direct light, and then I have a secondary light here so that I have basically two different sources of light on my face. And then right here is a second ring light that points down just to give a little bit more light on the table so it doesn't have to work as hard with the light reframing, so I can have all of my light really crisp and looking really good for whenever I'm walking through things. Then I have this little magnified light which I can bring down and I can just look through the magnification and have even more light on my workspace so that I can see things up close, because sometimes it's really hard for me to see what's going on, especially when I have to be further away from the camera in order for you guys to see what my hands are doing and not just the back of my head. Look at how good that background looks. It's just so amazing. It almost doesn't look like real life. It almost looks like some sort of 3D design, which is what my boyfriend was saying, and he's right. The bloom is just amazing. It doesn't even look real. It's so cool. And not only that, but it gives me so much extra light when I'm sewing or heat pressing or doing whatever. It's so much brighter in here. It's like daytime, which is really good for my mood, really good for everything else that I'm doing. So I'm super happy, just really pleased with how all of this came out. I have a lot of other videos that are not Christmas stuff lined up all in a row. I have so many things that I'm planning on doing. And honestly, now I can't wait to record just because I have the background I want. I have the video setup that I want. I have one more camera that is coming that I'll probably be using for my face cam. Right now I'm using a 1080p webcam, which is not ideal, but it is what I have for now because I'd rather have the really high quality on what I'm doing so that you guys can actually see that. I think that's more important than seeing my face at the moment. But don't worry, new cameras incoming, better quality, better audio, better everything. We are here for it. So thank you so much for joining me on this journey in this video. It's been quite an adventure. It's never ending, to be honest. I always change things up. I always make things different. You know, I change my mind about things, but for this one, I'm sure that I will not be changing my mind for a very long time because I'm so happy with it. This is exactly what I wanted. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.